Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a phenomenal day. We're going to take a quick look here, of course, at Solana, see what's going on. We did lose our ascending channel here, of course, which is inevitable. It happens. Obviously, Bitcoin pulling down to like the 62K range has a lot to do with this. We can also see as well that Solana's having some difficulty recovering, but again, Bitcoin is also doing the same thing. So we can probably presume at this point here that it's moderately aligned with Bitcoin, which is neither good nor bad. It's just something to be recognized for the moment, okay? Really could be a positive sign if obviously Bitcoin does recover, but at this point here, we want to double check a few things such as volume, backend, liquidation levels, etc. So if you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. Truly hope you can learn something here today. Congrats to our community members here for some awesome trades. Premium Plus, we saw some nice scalps this morning from XRP, ADA, and Chainlink. And of course BNB as well. And then for our premium group here, my swing trades did awesome yesterday too. XRP short 45%, 12 hours. An older fetch.ai trade in 7 days, 52%. ICP 20% in 13 hours. And the list goes on as far as that's concerned. But that was just taking profits from last night to this morning. So congrats, folks, to everyone on that who held strong on those trades. I know it was a little concerning with XRP shooting up, but hey, that happens. That was a fundamental catalyst. You cannot control that. Take a look here at Solana. What's going on here? Well, truth is we're seeing a lot of liquidation levels form at the top and bottom half of this new range here. So 170 upwards of about 187 is kind of that range that we're seeing there. So it's not like a significant level, but we can see this most recent longs got kind of wrecked down to about 172. So a normal wash or rinse of any type of longs that are over leveraging. And then of course we take a look at the last 12 hours. We'll see what this channel kind of tells us here. We can see a lot more shorts soon to get destroyed versus the longs. Now, is this a guarantee they're going to get wrecked? Not necessarily, but it's a higher probability because we've retested this level a couple of times already. It would make sense to sweep that upper level liquidity. So one more sweep before the price pulls back is one way to do it. Another potential option is a power of 3, which we could see forming if we look at smaller time frames. I don't really focus too much on the super small time frames. The lowest I usually go is about an hour or more, so 15 minutes if I'm looking for confirmation with my CC Golden Indicator. But again, more often than not, I'm going to be trading with larger time frames because most of my trades are designed for swing trading. Now you're probably wondering, well, wait, you just showed me some day trade results. What's the deal? It's an automated trading bot that I have created based on previous strategies, my day trading strategies, but I don't choose to day trade any longer. Either way you look at it here, we have a significant amount of volume. So good news is money is still flowing into this coin. We see MFI is still quite high. RSI is testing 70 on the actual RSI. And what that means for us is that it's commonly referred to as a sell signal when the RSI comes back down, not when it crosses initially. Okay, so you're gonna screw yourself over on a lot of profit if you take profit as soon as your RSI hits 70. Once it breaks through that level, it takes off and goes parabolic, and it's a pretty significant return. So again, this is in hindsight, this is 2020, of course, but this is when RSI broke through 70. This is when RSI comes back down through 70. Okay? A lot more profit there to be taken. So if you're gonna use the general rule of thumb, whichever time frame you prefer to utilize, make sure you take profits when the RSI crosses back down below 70 versus crossing up through 70. Okay, at least in bullish markets, that's essentially what you want to look for. Either way you look at it, stochastic RSI is finally swinging down. We're starting to see this downtrend here. MACD's trend diverged, but hasn't yet. There's really not a lot going on there. We want to zoom in a little bit, kind of see how what the most recent volume tells us here. Because if we look at the volume profile, we can see, of course, there's a heavy concentration at 108. But this newer ranges, we got what, 130, 148, and then of course the more recently we can see 183. So I'm mentioning those because take a look at the volume profiles in the current ranges is very important because that tells you kind of where support and resistance levels are at. We're now tentatively below this most recent volume accumulation, which coincidentally was a previous high or an area of interest. So once again, closing above 183, 184 today would be positive. So we'd be back up over that resistance level. For right now, we can presume that's going to continue to hold the price action in place. There's also not a lot of volume just below the price too, so it would make sense for the price to kind of continue lower here in the overall sense. Now, do you take a trade based on that sentiment? No, it's just something that you want to add to your portfolio, your roster of understanding. Hey, these are things that we want to check off the list, right? We're under 50 on the RSI, bearish sign. Stochastic RSI is swinging up, that's tentatively bullish, but again, very much emphasis on the tentative. We can also see we're plateauing on MACD here as well. So when I see all these things together, it's like they're all shooting in different directions as far as confirming factors. That means you don't take a trade. It's really what it boils down to. And I know if you're here to try to get, hey, what direction is Crypto Cash going to go today? Well, the truth is 95% of trading is me finding opportunities not to take a trade. This is one of those. You don't take trades based on no confirmation. Again, these are swing trade confirming factors I'm looking for. If you're looking for like micro analysis, you might want to follow some day traders. And again, I can still do that, but I prefer not to watch the charts all day, right? Just a different lifestyle. Like I live a very healthy lifestyle because I'm not sitting here stressed out about the charts all day long. I have a lot less gray hairs than I should because of it. Granted, I've earned my stripes, don't get me wrong. I traded mostly throughout the day, pre-market, post-market hours, for traditional markets, crude oil, natural gas, all that stuff back for about 15 years. So I've been there. Trust me, it's just not a place I like to be anymore. So swing trading, I gravitate more towards that. And when you look for confirmation on swing trades, there's a lot more things you want to look for because you're going to be holding the trade for longer and you're going to be waiting longer to get into the trades too, okay? So just please understand that when you watch these videos, there's no like one size fits all. Everyone has different strategies and different risk tolerance, and you got to find out what that is for you. At this point though, we can confirm we're still bearish here. We've broken below the cloud. We've been below the cloud for about, 24 hours. When I reviewed this yesterday, I was talking about how important it is to stay above that level. Now that we're below the lagging span conversion line, everything is basically telling us we're fully bearish. Okay? There's no reason to consider a long position. So if you're the buy the dip kind of person, all good in your spot bag, different story altogether. But if you're just leveraging with no direction in place, then I think you're doing it wrong. Keep in mind we have this previous resistance level at about 175. I'm rounding up a little bit. That was a previous day close, and that's why it's on the charts here. And that's a positive pivot point too. That could very well work out as a bouncing point. Now, if we take a look at this here as well, we can kind of see that if we are at the highest point, which seems logical at that 210 mark, we're due for one more ABC pattern to the downside. So I would not be surprised if the price continues to go lower one more time, especially if Bitcoin retests that 60K range, which is fairly. I'm fairly leaning more towards that being a reality at this point. But Bitcoin is exuding a lot of bearish behavior, and if Solana is following suit, we got to respect that. Okay, so let's go ahead and just draw out some trend lines here. We'll pay attention to this. These are just 2 candle wicks so far. There's nothing absolute about this. Please understand that. Just for my mental knowledge, later when I look at the charts and I understand, hey, okay, we're below or above certain moving averages. Speaking of which, I didn't touch on that here, but on the 4-hour time frame, we are below the 20-day SMA. We need to make sure that we're aware of that. That really lets us know that the momentum has shifted, not from bullish to bearish, but just generally speaking, it's shifting in the sense we want to pay attention to it. That's all there is to it. And really just implies that you shouldn't take a trade because we're in that little transition. There's a lot of transitionary trades going on right now where we're breaking from bullish to bearish, and we want to wait for confirmation before we jump into a trade arbitrarily. But what I'm getting at here is this descending trend will inevitably align itself with the 20-day SMA. It's a very common thing. So when you draw out trend lines, they're oftentimes working concurrent with these moving averages. In these moving averages are oftentimes areas of support and resistance, or in this case, it's just the initial trend. So the 20-day SMA for me, as you can see here, we've had a nice little concurrent running action here with the 20-day SMA. Once we broke below that, the price shifted momentum, and now we're tentatively bearish. Again, I want to emphasize the word tentative because I don't want you to attach yourself to one way or the other, because the overall trend right now is still up for the market. Okay, Bitcoin is, even if Bitcoin comes down as low as 60K, we're still bullish on Bitcoin. This is the overall trend. This is not necessarily what's happening today, intraday, day to day, right? That being said, Solana is pulling back. Would make sense we see a bit further of a correction to finish our ABC pattern. But once more, we truly don't know until Bitcoin decides to kind of regulate, right? Most coins are aligning themselves with Bitcoin, kind of running carbon copies, so to speak. And when you see that kind of alignment, it really just implies that the coin itself is no longer broken free from it. And that's not a bad or a good thing. It's just something you want to be aware of. So if Solana is kind of exuding the same behavior as Bitcoin right now, it goes to show that it'll probably continue to pull back when Bitcoin does. Okay? Those are just things you want to kind of understand. Either way, I hope that made sense. I described that correctly. I'll always try to make sure that you understand how to be a better trader. That's why I've got a trading university, academy, and community. And mainly to the signals as well. So they've been pretty profitable. Thanks again for that. If you want to jump on over and get to know our traders too, we got a really awesome group of folks here. So welcome aboard No ID 74 and a handful of others. We had a good 3 or 4 new registrations yesterday. And I can tell you too that with people registering as quick as they are, there are limited slots available. So if you're curious about that, feel free to message me. I can let you know when the next available slots are. Oh, last but not least, Bitunix, phenomenal exchange. Make sure you register with them. Link down below for this trading competition we got coming up. And more importantly, no KYC or VPN exchange. Awesome, awesome exchange. I look forward to working with you though. Thanks again for your time. We'll see you in the next one.